everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Femboy Arcades. This is a series that I've been thinking of for a little bit, and I wanted to give it a shot. I'm really into arcades and arcade machines, and I love playing video games, particularly ones that kind of require to be out at an arcade with the big cabinet and all that. I'm really into that kind of stuff. I'm into all different kinds, and I kind of thought that there weren't enough YouTube channels that covered that kind of stuff, or at least there weren't any in the way that I liked. I wanted to try and do an arcade channel where I focus on any arcade machine that you can get any sort of entertaining experience out of. I didn't want to limit myself to a certain kind of arcade or a certain type of machine. I wanted to cover as many as I could because I like all kinds of machines. I like the driving games, I like the rhythm games, I like pinball machines, I like shooters, I like the classic retro platformers, and I wanted to see what else was out there that I didn't know about or I wasn't familiar with. So hopefully this will be a very entertaining and informative video series. Maybe you guys will go out to more arcades because of this, and hopefully we can play a little bit of dress up while doing so. So coming up this weekend is the Golden State Pinball Festival in Lodi, California, and I really am excited to go. I've loved pinball machines ever since I was a little kid, and I've come to learn how to play quite a few of them, and it's actually been a long time since I have been to a pinball expo. So I'm really hoping that I get to be able to play some machines I haven't played in a long time, or machines that I'm looking out for. So yeah, I'm going to go to the Golden State Pinball Festival in Lodi soon. I'm really excited, but first I have to pick out an outfit for myself. But first I have to really quickly do my laundry, and I make sure to do it really quickly because I don't want anyone in my family seeing me in a skirt and thigh highs. Also, I'm not out to the public, so if you know me in real life, don't tell anyone. So that was my adrenaline rush of the day. Now I go about trying to find a pinball t-shirt. I really want to wear a pinball t-shirt, even though it's really not feminine at all, mainly because I'm going to a pinball expo and I want to show I have a history with this stuff. So because the shirts aren't feminine, I'm going to build a feminine outfit around them. I have three options. I've got this Pacific Pinball Museum shirt, a Shoot the Moon Expo t-shirt, and finally this Seattle Pinball Museum shirt. I end up going with the Shoot the Moon shirt because I don't know how long it's going to last. It's got a hole in it, and I want to do at least one femboy outfit with it. I've got this skirt from Hot Topic, this black and yellow plaid, and I'm gonna also go with some yellow thigh highs. I've got yellow sneakers that I don't show out, and I also have a black mask, so I'm planning to do a yellow on the bottom, black on the top kind of outfit. But first I've got to change into some dolphin shorts because the skirt turned out to be too big. A hot tip, if you buy a skirt in real life, make sure you try it on before you check it out because I bought this from Hot Topic and I didn't check the size and it's too big for me, and that's why I have to wear dolphin shorts under it so they don't fall off. In fact, I stress test it right here. So now that the skirt feels pretty solid and won't fall off, I look for a jacket to try out. Unfortunately, I only have metal jackets. This first one's an NC jacket, which honestly works pretty well. I don't think it's too bad in retrospect. This Merciless jacket, on the other hand, I don't like with this, just because there's red on it, and there's not really red in the rest of my outfit. My final choice ended up being this nondescript denim jacket. I just liked how nondescript it was. I kind of wanted any personality to revolve around the pinball shirt. But that being said, it wasn't a perfect fit. I have a purse that clashes even more with the outfit, but I've only got one purse, and I'm not getting another because I don't need one. Just an Eevee Pokemon purse from I think Hot Topic as well. I try and get some garters on, but these flower garters that I have, but they don't really work out because the skirt is too big and you won't be able to see them. In the end, I actually go for a more simplistic look. I don't wear the jacket or the garters because I forgot I'm going to Lodi, which is in the California Central Valley. It's a little too hot for a jacket, so now you see the final outfit pretty much here, minus the purse. Very simplistic, but I thought I did a good job. So now let's take a look at what I saw at the Pinball Expo. So here we are in the lobby of the first room of the Golden State Pinball Expo. In this room were a lot of homebrew machines and also classic machines. Most of the classic ones, known as electromechanical ones, were here. These are the ones that run entirely on relays and wiring and not on computers. And most of them were donated by the Pacific Pinball Museum, which was really cool that they had such a large presence, but also kind of crazy that they seem to be the only ones supplying electromechanicals. I guess it's kind of hard to take care of them. Most people go after, if they want something old, they go after one of these. These here are late 70s, early 80s machines that actually have computers in them, and you can tell because the display is electronic instead of drum. All the older machines have sort of drum displays, I guess, and these ones actually have electronic computer displays. So these were all the older machines, a lot of really fun ones here, but probably the one that I was most interested in playing was right there, Spectrum. I have not seen that machine since I was 9 years old, and it's one of the weirdest machines ever, so I was excited. But also the museum provided, look at these 1950s machines that are made out of wood. I mean, look at these. You don't get to see these every day. These are so rare. And here you see the some newer machines here. This is from the company known as Spooky Pinball. These are all some of the new machines. I meant to wait a second. Wait, go back. No. Is that a Wu-Tang machine? There's a Wu-Tang machine. What? Yeah, so apparently this is a homebrew machine by the Flipper Room in Concord. Flipper Room's a great pinball arcade, and they're making their own Wu-Tang machine. It looks awesome. I can't wait to see the final product. We don't have any rap pinball machines. I think most of them are all dad rock, so anyway, here's some other homebrew machines that were here. I didn't get to play them, but they did look pretty cool. And then you see some two-player machines here. It's kind of like foosball, where you try and get a ball into the other person's goal. I got to play AG soccer ball a bit, and that was a lot of fun. There was even an AI that could play against you. And then here we have some classic relays and this is basically some pinball mechanical exhibits. This is the main room where all of the modern pinball machines were, and it was just amazing stepping in and taking it all in. So many pinball machines. I think we had a total of like 300 there. It was amazing, and you didn't know which ones to play and where to start. I'll start by saying these machines here were brought by American Pinball, which is another pinball company that's been slowly growing. They had a booth here and we got to play them. But these are some of the ones that I'm familiar with or grew up with. You can tell because they have dot matrix displays and they can actually display words. I remember the Indiana Jones and Avatar machines quite well. I've seen the South Park one before. And there were others I wanted to play but couldn't. Like for instance, that Monopoly game right there. I didn't have a chance. I've never played IO Moon. I don't know how good it is or anything. But there was a rare one here called Radical. I got to play that one. And then you can also see there was a company that took old machines and turned them into new modernized games, which was a pretty interesting take on pinball. Of course, we have a lot of classics here. So they put googly eyes on a pinball machine. That's so funny. And then finally we have the Stern machines. Stern is the biggest pinball company and maybe the most successful right now. They were showing off their new Foo Fighters machine, which I'm not too crazy about the theme. You'll get to see me play it later, but I don't know. The Wu-Tang machine made me realize there aren't really a lot of machines that aren't dad rock. And I just don't know if Foo Fighters has earned the right to be a pinball machine, but that's a little rude. In any case, let's take a look at all of the machines that I got some footage on, starting with the earliest one. So this is the oldest machine present. This was Joker by Gottlieb, produced in 1950. So this is the oldest one here, and you can tell because there are warnings on Post-its and all that. A cool thing with old pinball machines is that they actually have two plungers on them. One of them is to insert the ball into the playfield, and the second one is to launch it. We don't have that anymore, so it's very different. We also don't have pinball like flipper layouts like this. Like, look at that. That was kind of unfair. And I'm glad that we've changed it up since, because some of this is just kind of stupid. And it's not surprising that people saw this kind of game as gambling back then. My strategy was to just hit the ball whenever you had a chance, because you might not get it back again. I'm sure there's strategy here, but it was too difficult for me. We can move on to something newer now with Classy Bowler from 1956. A bit easier to understand and definitely more conventional to look at. You have two different types of targets, strike targets and spare targets. Just like in bowling, strikes deal more points than spares, so definitely easier to understand. I find the sports ones are the easiest to understand. And it would be a perfectly good pinball machine if not for the gobble holes. Old pinball machines had these things called gobble holes, and I guess this is the first one to do it, where your ball would just fall into the hole and you'd lose it. I hate that so much. It's so hard to play around, and I'm glad that we don't have those anymore. Here's a newer pinball machine, I believe from 1960, called Kingpin, and this is also like a bowling-based machine with the drop targets representing pins. Hey, look at the save quickly. That's cool. So you can nudge the pinball machines bit by bit to save a ball from going out. You can't do it too hard or else you'll be disqualified. Here's another sports themed one. It's a pool table based one called Hot Shot. Basically hit as many pool ball drop targets as you can, and you get more points for the more you hit. The thing about older tables is that they're easier to understand, but they're harder to play because they're not like newer games that have been optimized for convenience and satisfaction. These are just kind of hard to play, but because they're so simplistic, you can understand them. This is that was from the 70s, I think. Now we move on to a 1981 machine with the same vibe. This is 8-Ball Deluxe by Bally, and yeah, this is a computer table. You can definitely tell it's a bit more sophisticated. There's a multiplier drop target section in the upper left, and also now the balls are on the right side. The ball drop targets are on the right side. I almost get all of them. In fact, I do. I get all of them except the 8-ball, which is in the upper right. So I get the last one here, and now the 8-ball target's flashing in the upper right. But I'm just never able to get there, unfortunately. I drain my ball here, and that's the end of that. So close. Now let's talk about the weirdest machine, Spectrum. I told you I hadn't played this since I was 9 because there are only 300 of them in existence. So yeah, the ball comes out from the middle, which never happens in any pinball machine. And the rules are convoluted. There are 4 color bank targets, and one of them gives off big points, but you don't know which one it is, and it resets every time you clear a target. So you have to kind of guess. So I accidentally hit green, and that's wrong. But there are clues. You can hit the right saucer or left saucer, like I just did there, and it will tell you if it is or isn't something, and also the middle shot as well. So the middle shot has told me that it's the red targets that have the most points. So now I'm gonna have to try and hit the red targets without hitting any other target banks all the way down. And that's incredibly scary. I later find out that you can just hit the center hole and it counts as clearing the target banks. So I guess the meta is just to hit the center hole as many times as possible. So maybe not the best designed game. I will say what is cool is, oh, and there I hit them. And I hit them again on accident, and then they just turn out to be the right targets again, like right here. But what's cool is the balls that launch at you when you hit the saucer. Like, it's so instantaneous. Look at that. It makes the game so much faster than any other game of its time. And it's such a weird table, and I'm not surprised nobody liked it, but I kind of love it. Now I just wanted to show what a double playfield looked like. This is Jungle Lord. It's got an upper playfield. Upper playfield, like multi-level playfields, were really popular in the early 80s because it was like kind of the new novel thing. And Jungle Lord was one of the many that had that. So I don't really know how to play this game. There are drop targets. There are also numbered targets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't really see them, but I'm just trying to go for the drop targets. If we move on to the 90s though, the games get way more complicated, but also super fun. This is Radical, a 1990s skateboarding game. The theme has both aged miserably and exceptionally, because it's so cheesy now, and I just love it so much. So there are a bunch of green arrows that are flashing. Each of them, when you run through each of them, you spell out a letter in the word radical. You get radical twice and you can start multi-ball. But right now I'm just trying to hit the left ramp because the red arrow tells me there's an extra ball there. I keep missing, but I eventually get it. That's so satisfying. The shots on this are so satisfying, and the ramps are crazy as well. It's kind of hard to tell because all the ramps were transparent. They didn't come out well on the phone, but amazing game. I recommend wholeheartedly. Here's one I'm very familiar with. Now we move on to dot matrix displays with Creature from the Black Lagoon in 1992. So there are 4 objectives in this game. When you clear an objective, you get a letter in the word film. Get all letters in the word film, and then you can start multi-ball by shooting the far left or far right shot, and that has the potential for a lot of points. You can also get a lot of points by getting all of the letters in consecutive order, like F, then I, then L, then M. And I'm really good at consecutive order. I get all of them in order. You see, I just got L there, and I started off with F. So the problem is, I didn't remember what the multi-ball shot was. Here I have all of them, and I don't remember what shot to hit for multi-ball. And I screw over my game just because I didn't remember how to play it. Oh well. Here's one of my favorites, the Getaway, also from 1992. It's a car chase themed one. Hit all the green light targets, then run the green light, then hit all the yellow light targets and run the yellow light. Finally hit all the red light targets and run the red light. Kind of simplistic for this time. There's also a gear shifter. If you get enough points, you shift gears for awards. Look at this. That's so cool. I also want to note that this is a multicolored display. Machines don't have multicolored displays off the bat, at least dot matrix ones. They're always either orange or red, so if you see a multicolored one, that means it's been modded. Now we move on to the dark age of pinball with Roller Coaster Tycoon from 2002 by Stern. I just wanted to show you this shot because pinball machines have instructions on them. People don't notice, but if you look at like the little card on the bottom, they tell you how to play this. So I call this the dark age of pinball because there was only one company at the time. It was Stern. Every other company left the pinball business due to the rising popularity of video games. Stern's the only one making them. They have no competition, and the games around this time aren't great. People don't really like this game that much. I found the shots really satisfying, and I thought they did the theme well. The problem is, apparently this game's not fun to play for prolonged periods of time. So if you're like an extra skillful player and you've mastered this game, you're just in for a boring game because you have to repeat shots. I didn't get that far, but we've now got Tron Legacy, another dark age era pinball machine, I guess. This is in 2011, and Stern is still the only manufacturer around this time. Not until 2013 with Jersey Jack is their competition. I like this machine. I grew up with it. I remember being there at its like kind of promotional premiere at a pinball expo when I was a kid. I don't really know how to play it though, but I like the futuristic vibe and all of that. And now we get to the modern machines with Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels has like a proper LCD display. It's not just dot matrix anymore. So you can actually show multiple things on a screen. American Pinball is a competitor to Stern. They're not great, but this is definitely a good machine. I liked it. I liked the theming. I liked the animation. I liked the playfield. Good stuff. To show you a different side of modern pinball, this is a modded Funhouse machine from 1990 that's been heavily modified to become its own game, Funhouse 2.0. It's now got different rules, more variety in shots, and it's got of course, an LCD screen instead of an alphanumeric. And I really like the idea, and I had a lot of fun with Funhouse. My only concern is that if Funhouse is my favorite pinball machine of all time, if I had an original 1990 Funhouse, I'm not sure I would want to modify it because it's so good on its own, and I don't want to ruin something like that. It's harder to get them as time goes on, so I don't know, but cool experiment. And now finally we move on to the Stern machines. This is the Godzilla pinball machine, one of the greatest pinball machines ever made in my opinion. It changed my opinion about Stern. It plays so smoothly, there's so many cool shots and cool toys, like the bridge, the Magna Grab, Mecha Godzilla, which catches your ball midair, and watch the tower in the back. You hit that tower multiple times and then it collapses and starts multi-ball by dropping 3 balls on you. It's awesome. It's little things like that make this machine so great. The animation's good. I love how they played up to like old school Toho Godzilla. I just love this machine. I made a really cool shot here that I want to show you guys. Honestly, that was a pretty inconsequential shot, but that just felt so cool doing. And you know, like I said, like Godzilla shots can be the most, you can mess up and they can still be the most satisfying thing ever. And finally, I finished it off with the newest pinball machine on display, the Foo Fighters pinball. Actually, this wasn't the newest one, but it was pretty new. I already said I wasn't big on the theme. I feel like there should be either more exciting rock bands like Nirvana or My Chemical Romance, or just not rock bands at all. Like Wu-Tang was a good idea. I don't know, maybe Earth, Wind and Fire, maybe some other rappers. Either way, I can't complain too much because this was a good machine. I didn't like the theme, but I loved the machine design itself. It was so smooth and fun to play. So I gotta give Stern props. They're the best pinball company out right now, so well played. And that was my experience at the Golden State Pinball Expo in Lodi, California. There were a lot of fun machines, many of which I didn't capture on film and many I didn't get to play. But there were so many, I didn't get to play nearly all of them. Like I missed Big Guns and Jurassic Park here, and well, I guess there's a Playboy machine. I didn't want to play the Playboy machine, but now I'm kind of curious. Anyway, this was so much fun. I highly recommend this expo. And honestly, I hope you guys go out and try pinball machines, because they're a lot of fun once you learn how to play them. Anyways, that's gonna do it for now. Thank you for watching the first episode of Femboy Arcades. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll try and make some more of these if I feel they're going well. This was a fun little project for me, and if I continue it, I think I'm gonna try doing rhythm games next. That seems like a lot of fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll catch you later.